Welcome to Side Streets and Intersections here on IntellectualRadio.com. I am your host, Angela Champ. And just as a reminder, if you are looking for an opportunity to host your own show here at IntellectualRadio.com, please do not hesitate to call 708-223-8953. And guess who is kicking it with me? What's up, Fred? I am sitting here with no longer than my beautiful natural hair this week, daughter Erica Ava Lynn. So listen,
we got this week, y'all.
So listen, we got a lot of comments on last week regarding natural hair. So we're gonna just kind of, just go back over that just a little bit, and then we are going to get into this week's topic, which we don't know about. Chico and Woo Stick.
Woo!
So, Miss Erica, you are wearing your natural hair, and oh my God, it is super thick.
Yeah, I figured I would like to lie and say, because we talked about wigs and hair last week, that this is why I'm wearing one. It's not. I just was like, this was looking rough out. And then I was like, you know what, my afro was raggedy, so I got in, I cut it up a little bit. I tried to shape it some. So I'm like, okay.
All right.
Real black today, you know?
Yeah, you got
a
lot of
in
hair.
that, you know?
Well, it's interesting that you're an adult, right?
Wow.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that
and
happened.
So, interesting enough, it used to take me 45 minutes to shampoo your hair, 45 minutes to blow dry, and then I had to style it. And of course, it was down to your butt.
And
you had a lot of hair.
Yeah.
And so, it's interesting that you never wanted anyone in your head but me. You know how most little girls like going to the beauty shop and stuff like that? She wasn't one of those type of girls. She wanted her mother to do her hair.
No, because the last time I went,
hey, Bruce, how you doing? Hey, Dwight.
After years and years and years, I tried to go get my sew-in done at a shop in Atlanta, and she sprayed it down and sewed the hair in. And by a week later, I had a bald spot the size of a quarter right in the front of my head. I was like, you know what? Never again. So. Yeah, I mean, I had the braid itself just popped off. So
oh wow, that means it was just too tight, extremely too tight.
Yeah,
unreal.
And I tipped her $30.
Well, you better go back and get your $30, girl. You got interest, girl.
It grew back.
Girl, so what's been going on with you this week, girl? What we talking about this week?
Child. But we're not gonna go there.
Girl,
okay.
Girl, who you arguing with and what you arguing about, girl?
Girl, my man, he get on my nerves.
Why he get on your nerves though? Cause what?
Okay. So y'all ever dealt with somebody who just don't know how?
Hey Shaya, hey Brian.
See, I don't know if it's because some of y'all men ain't had enough hugs as a child.
A lot of them, they have not had a lot of hugs.
Okay, so we're gonna talk relationships. We're gonna talk mommy issues and daddy issues and how they affect how you treat the man or woman in your relationship.
Ooh, that's gonna be a hot topic tonight. I hope y'all tuning in because I know a lot of y'all out there got issues. I know I had some too. So I hope y'all tuned in, but I still got my hair done from last week. I'm actually taking this out and I'm doing a different style, you guys. It pays to have, talent to do your own hair. So I'm grateful for that. Hey, Latoya. Hey, cousin, all the way from calling from Wisconsin. Okay, all right now. Couple folks calling from LA. I'm feeling kind of special, feeling kind of loved.
Feeling international. That's not international. Feeling national though.
Feeling regional, girl. Stop. Regional.
We're regional with
it. Regional, okay, girl. But we're doing big things though. We think globalization, girl.
Not globalization. Not the new world order. But anyway.
No.
Yes.
So anyway, getting back to these mama daddy issues in relationships, what the hell is going on?
So I've noticed, and I'm not trying to put him on blast, nobody on blast, but I've dated a few people in my life, okay, who had bad relationships with their mothers. I'm not a lesbian, but I know some women, myself, I've dealt with, I never had the best relationship with my father, and that affects how you come up. That affects how you view, relationships and how you interact in them with the opposite sex. Okay. So, I noticed that, okay. So if you were a man and you first. Do you believe that a man will treat you how he treats his mother?
Yes, because you know what?
The same, equal, or better?
Probably the same, worse. Probably the same and or worse, because you have to realize that a lot of men had bad relationships with their mother, and it spills out into their adulthood. See, a lot of grown men claim that they want to be men, anatomically, you're not just defined
You're a
by
male
that you're a male, and that doesn't make you a man.
because you have a wiener
It's the
with a double.
ability to adapt responsibility and onto your. Now I don't know who's texting me or whatever, but y'all gonna have to stop texting. This show's online right now.
That's my phone, girl.
Okay, well you better tell them to stop texting you. They be all right. They better Facebook you live. Better stop texting where they at. I know y'all like this real show. We like real shows, and here's why. Because I think that when you come with a script all the time, it's just so. Oh, and I feel that it's imperative that we're talking about. But when you talk real, people can relate to what you're talking about. Now, we know how to put the finance on it, but I think we work out. I think, yeah. So getting back to these relationship girls, that's a whole other thing.
I like it.
So anyways, in any house, what I found out, having not grown up with a father,
Okay.
I was searching for that in the type of men that I sought. But
okay.
But they were more confused and hurt and damaged, and some of them came from 2-parent families. So what's their problem?
I mean, okay, so that just because a person comes from you got different things, different issues. There's so many different branches that this can go into. Thank you, Desmond.
Hey, Desmond. Oh, thank you.
There's so many different branches that it can go to. People come up in all kinds of different homes. You can come up with a 2-parent home, but just because you have 2 people in the household doesn't mean that they weren't dysfunctional, or you didn't see, because
get me a Budweiser.
A Budweiser. Shut up, Lorice. Ooh, that's unfortunate.
We ain't celebrating no Christmas.
Girl, remember when okay, y'all, I don't know if y'all ever seen this movie, but the man,
of course, it came from Lifetime.
The wife, it was a Lifetime movie.
Hey, okay. Patrick, how you doing, Patrick?
The man had I don't know what happened to the wife. What happened to the wife? Did the wife?
She left him.
The wife left him to be a singer or something like that.
Yeah, she left.
Was having a career on stage doing her thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the kids, I guess it was around Christmas.
It was around Christmas, and he was struggling.
And then he was struggling.
He experienced a lot of things that women go through.
Right, he was on some, single black mother stuff, but he was a single black mother. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that was going on, and then the kids, he didn't want to have a Christmas or whatever.
He didn't. He threw the Christmas tree.
No Christmas presents for the kids.
So the kids put up a little mock tree. They had a little mock tree.
They made a little tree out of construction paper with the little
lights on it,
glitter bells on it, and he came in the basement and was like, "Ain't no Christmas in this house," and just threw that little tree in the fire. And it's like, don't take out your issues on the kids,
right? Because you had a bad relationship with your mother,
brother. But no, seriously though. So, and that's what we're saying. So in that situation, the kids, obviously, they had to grow up with the father being all disgruntled because the wife left him around Christmas and he was ruining Christmas. And now these kids gonna grow up and they're gonna have bad memories about Christmas and they're gonna be throwing their kids' tree in the fire.
Absolutely.
It's a generational curse.
It is a generational curse. And however, I think that what is imperative is that once you can recognize what your issues are, then you are able to not participate in the transference, and you don't project. You meet someone and, oh my God, reminds me of my ex. Oh my God, so I'm going to mistreat him. Or you start, going into some type of psychological fight with yourself.
Yeah.
And so I think it's interesting that's why it is very, very important for each person, be it male or female, to take enough time for themselves to really find out what it is that they like. Now, I will say this.
First of all, find out, do you even like yourself? Are you liking yourself right now?
Yeah, if you look in the mirror, and would you date yourself? Right. And I think oftentimes, if people are honest enough, they would not be digging themselves because they're just too damaged. And so what's interesting is sometimes, for example, I'm a doer. And I'm the type that if I'm in a relationship, I want to make sure that it gets done. But what I've learned in a relationship that helps me out in my current relationship is that as a woman who is independent, as a woman who likes to make things happen, you also have to allow your man to be just that, a man, and let him take care of whatever it is that's going on in his life. Like, for example, so often if a man brings to us an issue, we try to be very maternal and try to take care of that issue for him without allowing him to go through the process of what it is that he may need to go through in order to accomplish that end.
Okay, well, what kind of issues are we referring to?
So we were referring to, for example, in a relationship, a bill needs to be paid, for example. Did you see her face change real? Wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me something? Anyway, I'm sorry if I hope I didn't trigger a nerve. But however, say that a bill needs to be paid, for example, and say that you are very diligent when it comes to paying bills. You're very attentive, and the person that you're with is not necessarily attentive. And so the individual comes to you, and instead of saying that, hey, I didn't pay the bill.
Melodious Miles.
I didn't pay the bill. They try to come up and create some type of dysfunctional argument so that the responsibility, they try to place it on you. They project it on you as opposed to saying, hey, listen, babe, about that bill, I didn't pay it. I didn't get to it. I know that I said that I A, B, C, and D, but I didn't do it. And so there's so many just different issues that can happen in relationships.
That's a little bit different than you trying to be maternal and trying to fix something.
No, not necessarily. So let me get back to that. So then, being the woman who is a go-getter and she wants to make sure that everything's in order. Hey, I'll take care of it. But perhaps
I'm not taking care of all the bills. That's not finna happen.
No, I didn't say that. You got me wrong. I didn't say taking care of all the bills. Okay. Well, let me correct myself, because there was a time when I would. Hold on. There was a time when I did take care of the bills, but it'll never happen again. All about that 27 piece. Anyway, that was a whole nother story. But
I almost had a flashback. I almost went back to Nam. You know what I'm saying? 27 piece.
Right. 27 ways to split $1. Yeah.
But no, like personally, that's a big thing too. You got team
us,
team split the rent.
Right.
And you got team I ain't paying no rent.
So I have a big thing about that though. I think
you team split the rent or team not split the rent? Because I'm not splitting the rent.
Okay.
You gonna pay the rent.
Okay, so I think this is my take on it. I believe that you come together, you look at collectively
I'm a millennial.
Who has what. And sometimes in relationship, it goes from, it might be 80-20. It might be 70-30. Sometimes it might be 50-50. And sometimes it might be 10-90. But whatever it is that you have to contribute, it has to be consistent.
I agree with that.
And that is the problem in a lot of relationships, that is not consistent. Or if you get with somebody and they lie about what they have and what they make.
I love how we just jump from topic to topic and don't ever actually finish the topic, but it's okay.
No, but it all makes sense. At the end of the day, it all wraps up and it makes sense. I'm sure that the producer thought we was way off. She would cue us, but I'm sure that we make sense with what we're talking about, because each and every topic that we
these are valid
each and every topic that we that emerges, someone out there in Facebook land, Instagram, Spreaker, Alexa, IntellectualRadio.com, they can relate right now
one of these things
to what things that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So let's be honest. Now we're gonna get back to that subject, but so I was talking earlier. Mm-hmm. So anyone knows me that I'm a go-getter. I just got off a part-time job, right? I just got off a part-time job. I work a full-time job, in school full-time, and if another, I'm just a hustler.
Busy little Missy.
I'm just a hustler like that. So, but at any rate, what I don't understand, in relationships, it's not all about making another person feel, in a manner of speaking. For example, say if the individual is paying the rent, or if the person is paying all the bills, whatever the situation is, if they know the situation that they got themselves into, then I don't understand why they're complaining. Like, for example,
that I don't understand.
I don't get that.
I don't understand that one. If you're going to sign up for a situation, I'd expect for a man, woman, whoever you are, I would expect for you to have thought this out. For you have not to made an impulsive decision and just decide to throw yourself
into the wind. Hey, Alicia. Hey, Kevin.
I'm just going to do this and put my life on the line and put my money on the line with somebody I barely know. And then in the midst of it all, try to backtrack from what you're doing.
Absolutely.
You should have thought about this before you made the commitment to this situation.
I agree with that.
Right?
I agree with that.
Okay, so there's that. All right. Also, like you said, because I want to get back to you saying about you being a fixer and a doer. What exactly do you mean by that?
So being a fixer and a doer,
Because you can't fix a man.
no. So let me
Explain.
let me
Explain
expound
then.
and explain. So when I say
Hey,
I'm a
OG. Hey,
fixer,
Patrice.
when I say that I am a fixer, I am that type of woman that if bills are due, I'm gonna work 2, 3, 4 jobs to make sure that those bills are paid.
But why should you have to do that?
No, I'm
You
not
shouldn't
saying.
have to do
Listen,
that.
I'm not saying that I should have
Well,
to,
tell me, I'm
but
listening.
because I am that type of individual that I don't like things haunting over me.
Mm-hmm.
I like to make sure that they get done. I don't necessarily like asking another person to do something for me. I'd rather do it for myself and know that it's done. So, however, with that being said,
I mean, you can only really depend on yourself.
so with that being
True.
said, in a relationship, what I've had to learn to do is if it said I want you to give 100% of whatever level you are on, and be clear so I know what my contribution is. Now I agree with that.
Exactly.
That hey OG, that individuals, if you're in a relationship, they should give 100%. And they should be honest enough to say, hey, this is what I have to contribute. But what I have found out, with exception, because I've been deceived a lot.
Don't be deceived.
But with the exception of my current of my current relationship, and this is not to talk about my relationship, but we talk about everything, and we have very, 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 very good communication skills in the relationship.
We don't.
We have very, very good communication skills in a relationship. And so we don't have, like, for example,
we don't.
We have a really good relationship because we don't get into I'm paying your bills, I'm paying my bills. I pay my bills, he pay his bills. And so we don't have that issue.
Okay. So you don't have that issue because it's a different situation when you are cohabitating with someone.
Yeah, but I was cohabitating with someone at one time and was paying everything.
Girl, let's talk about that, girl. What happened with that? See, that's more so I'm kind of more on the cohabitation situation.
You want
like
I don't
we
put it like this.
Husband and wife, or we playing house, or whatever we doing, but we doing it.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So moving right along.
Mommy issues, like I said.
Mommy
Daddy issues. That person who I think I know who you're referring to.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that man now.
You're scratching.
I don't know what to say. I don't know if I should go there.
Okay. Well, I tell you what. Put it like this. One thing I've learned
he had to move some things around.
He had to move some things around.
How about he was moving somebody? Talking about he got to move some things around. Time he gonna pay some bills, but he was moving around her money.
Sure was moving around my money. Sure was.
And lying. Girl. These men a mess.
But I tell you what, I'm so grateful. I'm grateful that I'm a hustler. Keep hustling. I feel like
I don't know that song, but all right.
I almost feel like
what?
Whoop that trick.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I always feel like that. You know, yeah, you gotta get out here. You gotta make.
It almost got to that point.
Yeah, you gotta get out
here.
You're
almost gonna get whooped now.
Yeah, buddy.
Watch your mouth. Okay.
Anyway,
but in that situation.
But in that regard, so what I've learned is that if a person can't meet me and say this is what I'm bringing to the table, and I know what they're bringing to the table, Miss Men move around.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Because I'm not going to deal with your inability because you haven't dealt with your mommy or daddy issues. And then that you spill that over into the relationship. And now, because you know that you have a person that's willing to give, you use them. And then, this would kill me.
Financially?
Financially or in whatever. Emotionally.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah, emotionally, spiritually. Yeah, so many different other ways,
if you didn't get enough hugs, now you want to take it out on me.
Because you didn't get enough hugs.
Because you didn't get enough hugs. And then you want to, like that all that, the emotional baggage and, I didn't have enough attention or whatever it was. And now you want to act out to get attention like a child.
But you know what? Let's also.
A lot of these men are little boys who need some hugs.
Yeah. And we all do go through relationships, Patrice.
Exactly. Fool me once.
And we have to learn the life lessons. And the thing is to be able to move from those life lessons, not to internalize them to a point where you can't get yourself back on your feet. And I think that so often that we pour so much into other people that we
Yeah.
deplete ourselves of what it is that we need to stay afloat.
Yeah, that happens. I mean,
So,
that's happened to me most definitely. Like, with the last situation, I was given a hand up, a great hand up, and I squandered all that money away quickly, trying to build somebody else up who wasn't even sure of where they were trying to go. Me personally, I am a single woman. I'm almost 30 years old. I have no children. I was with somebody who was, well, this is a couple years ago. So, well, he was a couple years younger than me too. So I was with someone who had a horrible relationship with their mother. I mean, I couldn't stand the woman, to be honest. She was just, I have a great relationship with my mom. So,
well, we've learned. So we're gonna be honest about that.
I
Now,
mean,
we've had some
I
trying times,
have now
but we
currently
do.
as a
Yes,
grown
we
woman who's
have
almost
a
30 years old.
wonderful relationship, and
It wasn't always like this, of course,
absolutely.
but just with that, even throughout the years when we've had our ups and downs,
Oh, we always have been there for each
you've
other.
always been there for me, and I've always been there for you.
Oh, that's a huggy moment.
Oh,
Oh,
we're a family.
we ain't gonna get sued.
Like a giant
We ain't gonna get sued for
tree.
plagiarism,
Dream girl.
intellectual property. So we're gonna leave it alone. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
we ain't got no money. They ain't gonna get nothing. So, hey, man. But no. So, I just watching his relationship with his mom. I became really concerned after a while once I finally met her, the family, and I'm like, this dynamic is off.
Absolutely.
And then after a while, because he was under 25 at the time with 3 children, with 2 different women.
But let me play the
and he was having children with these different girls because he was looking for that maternal relationship, some kind of feminine love from a woman that he didn't get from his mom. And I didn't really understand that until I had actually met her. And I'm like, this lady don't even love her son. Like, she does not care about her son. And I could see why.
Awful. That's awful.
It is sad. It was very sad.
Let me also defend our men.
But
you have a lot of men out here who came from very good, strong families, and they try to get with these women that came from very bad families or very bad family dynamics. And oftentimes these good men, they don't have any kids coming into a relationship with that woman. Mm-hmm. They're helping to raise that woman's children, and then they may have a kid in the process. During the meantime, they're being disrespected by those
kids.
Children,
right? The stepkids,
and then at some point they may wound up having a kid by the woman, and now
exactly that's true.
And so that woman did not understand that she had a very good man in her midst because he came from the dynamic of family. He understood what family is. However,
a lot of women, though,
there's a lot of damaged women.
Specifically,
there's a lot of damaged women out here.
Specifically, though, with that situation, because a lot of women have been hurt and have been so dogged out, and by the time they do get a good man, they don't recognize what that looks like. And that's from, like Patricia said, people, or is it Patrice? Yeah. Too many of us pack these lessons instead of unpacking and moving on to the next lesson. We carry the baggage. So a lot of people carry that damage and that baggage along with them into the next situation. And then you're attacking and making that person pay for what whoever else your baby daddy is, your daddy, your uncle,
or your baby
Charles,
daddies,
whoever it is.
Or your baby daddies.
Yeah. Them. You making people pay for what's happened to you. So by the time you get a good person in your life, you don't know how to treat that person because you're so guarded, you're so confused, you're so angry and bitter towards whoever hurt you in the past because you haven't gotten back to yourself. You haven't, treated yourself well enough to understand, what a good person is, what a good man looks like. So in a lot of those situations, a woman will run a good man off, or I guess turn a good man into a dog, even though that's an excuse, but we ain't gonna go there.
Or what happens is, because a lot of times we don't want to consider that men have been abused too. Men have been abused to the point where they've been, spat on, and they've been kicked, and they've been cursed out, and they've been just, they've been talked about how no good they are, and this goes on for years and years and years and years.
Call me insensitive, but all I could give is a visual of like a little dog in a corner, like, was a little. I'm sorry. I'm
Wow,
not.
did you just?
I ain't nothing, y'all. I'm
Did you
sorry.
create a little monologue? Just.
But I was
real
just. That's
quick?
the vision I got, and I didn't want
Let's
to
see.
burst out into laughter because I'm
Oh,
kind of.
okay. A little bias. A
Cool.
little bias.
No, like I completely understand that. Like you have an overbearing
Hey,
mother,
Nicholas.
an
Hey,
overbearing
Daryl.
mother, or a domineering father. That's going to affect you coming up as a child, and you're going to absorb those ways in either a negative fashion or a positive fashion, meaning that you're going to seek out the opposite of, your mother, or the opposite of your negative father, or you're going to fall back into that same trap because you're comfortable in that negative space.
So
that
this.
you're going to seek out someone who's just as abusive, domineering, and dominating.
So this was just a beautiful. You created a beautiful segue, not necessarily a segue, but you just you jarred a thought in me.
Okay.
So, what type of mother was I? We live here on Facebook
no.
Live, Intellectual Radio Speaker.
Oh no, Lord.
What type of mother was I? And
Really?
in the grand scheme of things, but because I think that as
We supposed to talk about everybody else, not us.
no, that's what makes that's why people like our show, because they know we talk real stuff. So what type of mother was I? I mean,
Okay, so I guess since you want to hear it and you want the world to know.
dun 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 dun.
What in the world? Okay, so you were an excellent provider coming up. Very hardworking. Like I aspire to be like my mother in a lot of ways. But some stuff just ain't for me. I really don't want to work 3-4 jobs. I don't want to. And I prefer to be in a situation where I don't have to. Okay, so that's just me. But very, very great provider. You've always been a very ambitious woman, and I admire and respect that. Yeah. And really fun mom. I had a wonderful experiences traveling and coming up, and when it came to school, you would do a lot of helping there, and even to the point where, you spoiled me a lot. So
I enabled you? Would you say that I enabled you?
Well, no. No, I don't think so. I would say in a lot of areas, you would compensate financially for what you might not have been able to provide emotionally.
Okay.
I think that the shopping and all the money and all those things. I think that was there as a compensation, because up until a certain point everything was great, and then I guess maybe you started to go through some things in your own life.
Okay, I can acknowledge
and they
that.
kind of trickled down to through our relationship.
Okay.
And things weren't so great at that point.
Okay.
For quite some time. So I do think that you overcompensated financially for what you weren't able to give at some points. And a lot of times because you were a single mom after, things happened, divorce and all that stuff.
Even when I was always a single mom.
I mean, well, my daddy ain't never did nothing for me. So let's just keep it real. Okay. And if you watching, you watching. And that's just it. And you know that, like we all know that. And now everybody knows that. Hey, boo. But yeah. So but you made me cute though. Thanks for your jeans, Al. Thanks, Dad. Let's do lunch. But no. But no. So yeah.
Hey, Jasmine.
You were a great provider. You were an awesome mom. And that's why we do still have a great relationship to this day. Even though we might fall out like cats and dogs, you still are, awesome. But you were going through some things personally. And that's what I think happens a lot of times when you're a young teen parent. Now, don't get me wrong, because like I said earlier, I don't have any children. So when you are a teen parent and, things may not have worked out how you wanted them to work out, you might have imagined that you and the father would be together for the rest of y'all lives, and that's how it would have worked out, but it didn't.
Well, no, that wasn't my mindset.
That wasn't okay. So why did you decide, if you knew that you and my dad weren't going to be together, why would you one, have the child, and then how does that affect you as a mother who's having a kid, and then you're like, oh wow.
So I guess from my perspective, I didn't. To me, to think like that was thinking unrealistically. To think that I was going to be with somebody forever when I was still getting to know me, that was unrealistic. But the one thing that I did make sure.
Is that unrealistic in hindsight? Because you're obviously wiser now, but I don't think that that's something that you would think at the age of 18, 19.
Yeah, so.
Because nobody's that introspective at that age.
Well, I would say that
I wasn't.
I always knew how to take responsibility for my actions, whether I understood it in totality. I knew how to say, yeah, I messed up. Maybe I didn't express it to other people, but I knew when I got into my quiet space that I had messed up. So, one of the things that I made sure of.
What if you get mad?
Yeah.
And block us on Facebook.
Yeah. So, one of the things that I made sure of is that growing up with a single mom, her having 5 children and seeing her struggle, not growing up with a father, the one thing that I was going to make sure of, that I didn't have a bunch of children and did not know the fathers, because I think that that would be unfair to them and it would be unfair to me. And I just didn't want to expose myself or the child or children, had I had any children, but in your case, the one thing I did not do is, I've stated and you've stated as well, is that I did not talk about your father in a very condescending fashion.
You never talked about my dad negatively. You've never done that.
Because I didn't think that it was that important.
Well, let me interject just to say this. My father and I, we
Hey, Nick,
actually
how
do
are
have a
you?
good relationship at this point. We do have a good relationship. I'm an adult. I'm forgiving. We're cool. I'm for about let's do lunch, but you can pay for it. But yeah, so you never did that. You never did me that disservice, because I think a lot of women do that too. They get scorned because it doesn't work out with the father of the child, and then you won't let the child see the father, or you move across the country or whatever.
That was never my case. I would always,
because that's happened. I know somebody who's dealing with that right now.
I would always, even when her father and I were not on speaking terms, when it got really rough with this girl here, and Lord knows she tried every corner of patience with me. I would bring her to her father's house and say, you need to talk to her. Sometimes I hadn't seen him in years.
That's true. That is true. He was, that's why I said he and I have a really good relationship at this point. Like, I can call him and talk to him, and we'll talk for hours. He'll stop by and visit me.
However, he also did not have a close relationship with his mother. And it impacted him how he treated women.
And that goes back
I told you we're gonna get back to it. Didn't I say Wanda was gonna get back to it? I said we was gonna get back to it.
Okay, y'all.
Hold fast. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for joining us here on this evening, Side Streets and Intersections here at IntellectualRadio.com. And if you're looking for an opportunity to host your own show here at IntellectualRadio.com, please do not hesitate to call 708-223-8953. And just kind of recapping some of the things that we are talking about, we began the show with talking about the natural hair, because we got a lot of inquiries on last week concerning the topic. And just so happened, my daughter happened to wear her natural hair today. And as you guys can see, she has lots of hair. However, her choosing to wear her natural hair today had nothing to do with the fact that she was trying to show people that she had hair. She just didn't do her hair, so that's why she's wearing her.
This was intentional, though.
Oh, so it was
hairstyle was intentional.
Oh, okay. So I'm not saying the hairstyle wasn't intentional. I'm simply saying that you're not wearing your hair to prove a point. You're not showing your hair to prove a point.
Oh, girl, I'm not proving no point to nobody.
Hey, Karen, how you doing, girl?
When y'all start being
Jasmine,
bills, let me know so you don't say nothing.
My flight soror, she's watching. Hey, Jasmine, I'll see you in Thailand, girl. Ow.
Okay.
So, yeah. So a lot of men, they have mommy issues. So and a lot of women, they have daddy issues.
Yeah, and it goes to how you treat your people in your relationships, girlfriends, boyfriends, even how you treat your sons and your daughters. Now, but just back to what I was asking, because I am curious about this, because I do have opinions about people, and I will say I'm a very judgmental person. I'll judge somebody, just based off of. That's just what people do. People say, oh, you can't judge me. Well, that's what people do. People judge you. That's what happens. Like, you can't go out here and make choices and do things and not think that someone's going to, not judge you. That's just what life is. Not that I can put you in prison or jail, or that I'm God or Jesus or whatever. But based on our interactions, based on my perspective, living my 20, 30 years of life, you living your 40 years of life or whatever it may be, you have experiences that shape how you perceive individuals and their behavior, and therefore you make judgments.
Absolutely. And I will say
Okay.
that respective to how, when we're talking, relationships and how a man treats a woman and vice versa.
When a man loves a woman.
Okay, you can only do 8 bars. We're not getting sued. All right.
Okay.
I'm singing them, folks. We're not getting sued here on
Remember that Midnight Love commercial?
And you know what's interesting? I'm actually writing a paper. Matter of fact, I just did a presentation on yesterday concerning the laws, the copyright laws on infringement. Concerning
That's a whole
infringement.
Different. Okay.
And so I'm just saying, just make sure that you sing enough bars that we stay up under so we don't get sued out here for intellectual property.
Broadcast. They can't sue us.
I know, but there's potential.
I mean, there's potential there.
Right. So a lot of times you have to be careful about that because they're looking at the potential earnings, not what's being earned or not earned. Now they're looking at the potential earnings.
Okay, but we're not worried about that.
No, we're not worried about that right now. Right now we are here at IntellectualRadio.com.
We worry about these baby mamas and baby daddies and how they treating their kids and their offspring.
Well, and
boyfriends and girlfriends.
Yes.
And their mamas and daddies.
But you have these men who they're so damaged and so messed up till they would even go so far as to marry a woman just to
inflict damage upon this person. Yes. I just want to get you back.
Yes.
But see, that's just crazy.
Well, let me tell you, I'm being honest.
Damage. That's crazy.
So one of my last marriage, he married
ex-husband. Yeah,
he married me, and he said the whole thing was to get back at me.
Isn't that crazy?
Isn't that crazy? He said he married me to get back at me because he was really special.
And you know what was crazy? Like, he and I were cool. Like, hey,
Jamal.
You know, it wasn't like.
No, they Jamal. But he married me and then told me, and my daughter initially thought that I was just like, because like, Mama, I know you. Mama, I know you.
I do know you, and you was doing a lot.
I wasn't, but I was always a provider. He said,
but you know what?
Hey, Missy.
I'm going to say one thing, and you can continue that statement. A lot of times when a woman is the breadwinner and you have a certain expectation, this goes back to you being damaged and everybody else being damaged. Girl, I might poke you in the aggregate.
Don't them fingernails, girl. Okay.
Well, no.
Right. Earth the kid.
Well, you know, when a woman is used to being a provider, that comes from that single mother, what's the word? Syndrome, I guess you want to say. Because it forced you to grow up.
Yes.
It forced you to take care of business. It forced you to be financially stable.
Yes.
If you're that kind of person. You're
Absolutely.
not a welfare queen or whatever, but hey. But it forces you to take care of business. So because you had to do it without a man.
Absolutely.
Women in that situation.
But it didn't make me angry.
To emasculate men.
I didn't do that though. I tried to help.
To differ.
You really? I did that?
I beg to differ. I do. I'm sorry.
Hey, Mr. Winfrey, guess who watching the show? Well, the owner of IntellectualRadio.com. He is actually watching the show. Where I be? What you say now?
You're a strong black woman, and a lot of time that strong black woman can emasculate a man who's trying to be a good man.
So, do you think I did that often?
Yes.
Ooh, ouch, that hurt.
You asked me to tell you, and I told you. I'm sorry.
Well, I will say that, and so as a result of,
but not to say that
it wasn't intentional. It wasn't.
No,
intentional.
I know that's the thing about.
Okay,
that's the thing
so
about
it wasn't
damages.
intentional.
It's not intentional.
Absolutely, it wasn't intentional. And now I will say,
when someone comes back and says, "Hey, I did this intentionally. I married you just to get back at you." Now that's a whole different level of crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and we will never know if that was the statement made out of frustration, or if that was the genuine master plan that he had all along. Because that's crazy.
We have Missy.
Who does and says that?
We have Missy who's listening, and she says, "Funny that you guys are talking about the subject matter. I've been thinking that perhaps I'm in the same type of situation now." So, Missy, we understand that you believe that you may be going through what we are discussing now. Have you sought, or do you have a solution? Says some men can't handle strength in a woman. That is absolutely correct. So, but a strong black man will stand his ground. Patrice, you are absolutely correct.
Both of you ladies are correct. Absolutely correct. A strong black man who may have been damaged, who has accepted his his
His
plot in life or
flaws.
whatever, and his flaws.
Absolutely.
You're strong and you're confident in yourself, and you're doing your best. You you'll be able to stand your ground, and you'll be able to handle that strength from a woman.
Absolutely.
And you will be able to recognize that this woman is so strong because she's had to be so strong.
Well,
And
you know
they
what?
can see that vulnerability in between.
Absolutely. And it's interesting that
know?
you say that because the gentleman that I am dating,
Yeah, boo.
my boo.
Yeah, boo.
My boo. All right. Go on, my boo. It's interesting that we had this discussion and he was very adamant. He said, Angela, I need for you. I said, what do you need of me and what do you need from me? Because I think those are the questions that we don't ask in relationships. We don't ask the opposite sex, what is it that you need of me and what is it that you need from me? And he said, Angela, I need for you to let me do what I'm doing. And if I'm going through something, let me go through it because as a fixer, my thing was always, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it because if you think about it, and then you understand that sometimes it's not about uh, the finances of something that you can take care of. Sometimes people need to go through whatever emotional ups and downs that they need to go through in order to get them to where they need to go so they can be strong for you.
But in that situation, if you need to go through that, do you think that person's relationship material? Do you think they need to step back and not? I mean, like, because if you are in a space, because I'm not in the business of giving people passes and excusing unacceptable behavior. Okay. So if you're in a place where you feel that you need to go through what you're going through, why do I need to be here for you to go through what you're going through? Can't you go through what you're going through and then come back when you're able to give me what it is that I need?
Because I think that so let me
That's a
speak from
not a relationship, in my opinion.
Well, let me speak from an older a person has just a little bit more experience. Hey, baby, my baby is watching. Hey, baby. So, say this. See, I get all smile. My boo watching. So I would say this is that you can. The problem is that so often if you've been damaged, you don't know how to work through while working with. That's deep. You don't know how to work through while working with. So we have to learn how to be in relationships and learn how to work through.
I like that. Okay, I can deal with that.
And work with. Meaning that if your man or your woman comes to you and says, hey, I need to go through this, work through whatever it is that I'm going through by myself, that you allow them to go through whatever it is that they're going through by themselves, but you are still there to support them. That's what brings about a level of cohesiveness. So often what we try to do is we try to simply tell the person, get over it, I got you. Well, I still got you. I still got you, but the person still needs to experience the range of emotions that they must go through with their particular experience. You're just standing on, not necessarily, you're not on the sideline because you're in the relationship, but you are standing on the sideline and you said, hey, if it gets too rough, I'm still here. I got you, baby. So that's what we have to learn how to do.
That's a big part of being in a partnership. Allowing someone to.
Absolutely.
That's a part of allowing someone to respect this person and where they are.
Absolutely.
If they have to go through some things and do some soul searching, I guess. I mean, I guess I have nothing against being a supportive person or being in that supportive role.
Okay.
A morally responsible person for you to lean on if you need me in that situation.
Lean on me.
But it should definitely be both ways. It should be on both streets. As long as it's on both streets, it's coming from both ends, I don't have an issue with that.
Absolutely. I think what's interesting is that I will say, is
it possible to be
now Missy says,
to be
is it
independent?
Possible? Yes, we can be too independent. We can be so independent. It's just like holding a fist closed. Sometimes you can hold a fist closed that nothing can get in or nothing can get out. And so you miss your blessing because you're so strong and you're so powerful. You're so strong and so powerful that it makes you weak. Said it should be natural.
I agree with that as well.
It should be natural and not require too much energy. You're absolutely correct. it shouldn't require too much energy. And if relationship is draining and or depleting
Then
you,
need to go
then it's
ahead
a
and get out of that
waste of
situation.
time. And I can
Exactly.
honestly say that the one thing that I did and the relationship that I'm in now that I have never did in any relationship that I was in, and
What's
that's
the one thing you did, girl?
we became friends first. We became friends first. We were friends before a relationship was even considered. And so he supported
you know
me.
what? Honestly, that's what I will say. Like me and my guy, we have our ups and downs, but we were co-workers.
Okay.
At first.
I wasn't his co-worker, but I'm just saying. Oh. Well, welcome to Side Streets and Intersections here at IntellectualRadio.com.
We were co-workers initially. We were initially co-workers. Okay. And I needed I needed a friend to assist me through a situation I was going through. And he had come off a recent breakup. I came off a recent breakup. And we both were like, you know what? We cool. We're cool. And I remember actually, he tried to talk to me. Like I was so not in that space to be in a relationship with anybody because I was really coming off of a terrible situation. And I was so not in that space. And, it just happened organically. Like, and nobody forced anything. He wasn't, hard up pursuing me. I wasn't hard up pursuing him. It was just something that just happened one day. And we're like, oh, and I like you.
And it's funny that you say that too, because
you cute.
And
I want to give you all my money. That's what he said.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. So that wasn't my experience. But my experience was that I'd actually had gone out to meet someone and the individual stood me up. And so
that is rough.
Yeah, that was rough. I'm sorry.
So I'm sorry, Andy.
Oh, that's okay. And so he was sitting. I had gone to this bar lounge, mm-hmm. and he was sitting, and he really didn't want to be bothered. Mm-mm. And and so he was such a gentleman. He wound up buying me a drink or whatever, but he really didn't want to be bothered. He wasn't trying to play. He wasn't trying to do anything. We'll make a long story short. That evening, we just started talking about so many different things, and he never, ever, ever tried to. He was always very respectful, mm-hmm. and he would support me whether I was in relationships that he didn't approve of. I mean, supporting me hands down. Mm-hmm. And here I am flying all over the world, going all these different places. And what I was looking for was right in my backyard.
Oh, my goodness.
And after over a year and something, and bad relationships and engagements and all of whatever, we looked up one day, and I was like, wow, I'm going to miss out on what I've been looking for by searching and being blind. And so I'm very, very grateful. He and I have a very, very good relationship. I'm very, very blessed, and I'm humbled by it, and I'm humbled by my experiences.
That's good. That's good. I'm watching you become a woman.
Did my child just say she watched me become a woman? I'm done, y'all. Facebook, I'm done. I'm done. The girl lost her mind now.
No, because you got to understand. That's what I was trying to say. Get back to that whole thing. Like I said, I've watched you. You had me when you were a kid.
Hey,
really
Sonia.
Young, essentially.
I was 19
years of age. And a lot of kids grow up with their parents.
Yeah. I didn't grow with my mama. That's for sure.
With your mama?
No.
Your mama?
Well, you grew up with me.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, because mama was 23 when she had me. But
she was who?
23.
I mean, that's still pretty
young.
It's
pretty. Yeah, I was a fifth kid. So,
oh, well.
Yeah.
Oh, right. But
yeah.
Woo. You know.
Oh, what about that? All about that. Whatever.
All about them Cheerios. But no. So,
But anyway, at any rate,
I grew up with you, and it's just interesting to see that, because as you grow up with your parent, you see them go through things. And I think that's, especially with me being an only child, it might be different if I had siblings, but since it was only me and it was only you for the majority of the time, I watched you like a hawk because I had nobody else to model myself after.
And let me just say, I made a lot of mistakes. And I've owned those mistakes. And I think that as parents, the one thing we have to stop telling our children is, I'm grown, you do what I say. Because we may be telling them to do something that is not correct. So we have to always do a self-analysis. And if you don't know what you're doing is correct, seek out the wise counsel, somebody who knows, not someone who.
Not your friend who's going through the exact same situation as you. Because
Right.
both two kids, two chickens with their head cut off can't lead nobody. The two blind people can't lead each other.
Absolutely.
You know.
So anyway,
Mm-hmm.
we are coming. I mean, this hour went so quick.
Is it over?
Oh my God.
Oh my
I just
word.
want to say that, I've been getting so from all over the world. They love our chemistry. And it's really interesting that being a mother and daughter, that we really do. I'm so glad that you are my co-host. I wouldn't have anyone else here. I think it is amazing.
So
I think that I'm
honored.
always so in awe at your level of intellect and the fact that you do a lot of reading, a lot of researching, and you're well versed when we talk about subject matter. And so I'm so grateful. We have come to an end, you guys. Next week
Thank you. Thank you all.
We'll talk about something that will be very interesting.
What are we gonna talk about?
Girl, we don't know yet. But anyway,
we don't know yet.
We just want to say, we always trying to make, we want to make people laugh. We want to give you some truth. We want to make sure the one thing that we talk about when we discuss things is that the content of what we're discussing is verifiable. We want to make sure that it's just not specifically our opinions, but things that you can research in the event that you need to research those things. With that being said,
and if any of you have opinions or questions or concerns, like I always said, drop a message in the inbox. I'll reach out to our frequent viewers and, get some opinions on you guys and, help. Like I said, you help us build the content. You guys, we have feedback. We love feedback. And
thank you, Patrice. She says she loved the transparency.
Definitely.
We got one. Thank you, Mary, for joining us. Said, wow, Missy, she said, I love to see
I love
you guys
to see you
next time. Most definitely
see
be back.
Next
so
time
with that being said, we want to welcome and thank each and every person for watching and listening. We can be heard on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, YouTube, Alexa, Deskgram, IntellectualRadio.com, Facebook Live, and we're going to start streaming live from Instagram. So make sure that you share and subscribe to Side Streets and Intersections here on IntellectualRadio.com. Once again, if you're looking to host your own show here at IntellectualRadio.com, please do not hesitate to call 708-223-8953. We want to thank you because at the end of the day, we don't catch feelings, we catch flights.